And we're going to start today a little bit differently. So I invite you to take your socks off. And let's do a little bit of self-massage of the feet. Because if we're talking about groundedness with our root chakra, we want the feet to really be helping us. They're our conduit to the earth, the part of us that most frequently touches the ground. So just run your fingers up and down the bottom of your feet. Do a little exploration of the parts of you that might be sore there or need a little attention. And then come up to your toes and give them a little squeeze. I absolutely love having my feet massaged, so this is something I could do for a while, but we will get into our other yoga practices as well. So let's switch feet. See how the other one is doing. Again, maybe you run your thumbs up and down the length of the foot, noticing the arch, noticing the shape of the foot. In yoga, sometimes we talk about the four corners of the foot anchoring us to the ground. So as you're doing your little self-massage, take a moment to think about where those four corners are. You can look at them, you can touch them. So it would be a corner underneath your big toe, kind of where the big bones are there underneath the big toe, and a corner underneath the baby toe. Will be another corner. And then the next two corners would be associated with the heel. Points on either side of your heel that are in contact with the ground when we're standing. So take a moment to notice the four corners of your foot. We'll be coming back to that when we're doing our balance. Good. So if you are sitting on a chair, you likely will be able to now place your feet directly onto the ground. Those of us that are sitting cross-legged or some other way, just take a moment to notice what parts of your feet are contacting the ground. It will be different than when we're standing. So feel that connection, feet to earth. And then sitting bones, like we usually do, find those and their connection to earth. And let's give a little attention to the core. Let the core be just engaged enough that it can support us to really let the spine lengthen right up through the crown of the head. So remembering that we've got 7 spinning wheels of energy that exist just in front of our spine, all along the spine. So when we lengthen the spine, we'll start to work with that imaginary sense of the spinning energy. Make your arms comfortable, close your eyes, and let's start to take some breaths that you are consciously aware of. So you're noticing yourself as you breathe in, and noticing as you breathe out. Be your own observer today. Be a witness as you breathe. Continue breathing, continue noticing, and see if you can also bring attention down to the very base of your spine, your root chakra. See if you can keep your attention there for the next couple of breaths. Notice its proximity to the earth. On your next breath, imagine breathing into that place, that root chakra at the very base of your spine, your tailbone. Breathe into there and out from there. And I invite you to continue that as we go through our opening sequence. So with each breath, we're going to take it all the way down to the tailbone, root chakra, and all the way out from there. Just do your best, the best you're able to do. Let's take thumb into hand. Inhale, down deep into the root chakra as you lift your arms. Hold. And let's breathe out from there. If you're able to use the 3-3-9 breath, let's add that in here. Hands together, breathing into the root chakra for 3 counts. Holding for 3. Out for 9. Hands behind the head or in front of the neck, if that works better for you. 3-3-9 breath. Attention at the root chakra. Full extension as you breathe in. Hold. 9 counts breathing out as you bring your hands slowly towards your heart. Keep your attention at the root chakra for this breath here. Extend your arms either back of the wrists on the knees or hands flat beside you. And as we always do, let's get into our necks, lifting an ear, using the 3-3-9 breath. And if you're able to, still keeping your attention down at the root chakra. When you're ready, over to the other side. At your pace, let's do each side again. Once you're ready, we'll come back to center. Look over at the side wall. Keep the back of the neck long. And again, it's a little bit of a challenge to our mind focus to be able to engage in this pose where we're looking at the side wall, but also have our attention at the root chakra at the same time. 3-3-9 breath. To the other side when you're ready. Back to center, drop your chin toward your chest. 339 breath here. Walk the eyes across the floor, up the opposite wall, across the ceiling. Let your neck decide how far to go. Open your mouth, breathe 339, and focus in the root chakra. Walking the eyes slowly back until chin is on your chest again. Same thing. And let your head float to center. If you choose, you're welcome to stand at any point if you prefer. If you're sitting, you're going to rest your arm across your lap. If you're standing, the arm can dangle beside you or be placed on your hip so that we can bring the other arm up to the ear. Inhale as you reach up and over for your 339 breath, still focused in your root chakra, way at the base of your spine. And let's do the other side. Inhale up and over, 339, root chakra. Excellent. Bring that back. We've got Sadie joining us. Apparently she wants me to know something about what's going on for her. She's whining a little, so apologize for the dog whining. Reach your hand forward. Other arm off to the side. Drop the shoulders down. Look past your side fingers. Keep those shoulders dropping as you take your little twist towards the back. And 339, focused in the root chakra. Change when you're ready. Arms go the other way. Drop those shoulders down. Look past your side fingers. Take that little twist. And find your root chakra for your 339 breath. Good, into a seated eagle here. One arm across, the other arm wrapped underneath. Or find a way that works for you better, perhaps holding up the top arm, bottom arm. I find seated eagle a wonderful pose for chakras. Somehow, this experience of lining up my arms makes me feel like I really have a sense of the lineup of the chakras along the spine. So once you've got the position in the arms that you want to have, bring your attention again to the base of the spine, your root chakra, and now hold with your eyes closed for your 339 breath. Change when you're ready. Other arm. Bring attention down to the base of your spine and breathe. Beautiful. Release that. Bring your fingers and hands behind you. Interlace your fingers. Pull your wrists apart from each other. Widen across your chest. One shoulder all the way to the other. Lift the arms up and away from the body. And one more 339 breath, focused at the root. Release those arms, give yourself a hug. And a little permission here to let go of your focus. Just breathe normally. Change to the other arm's on top. Maybe notice what's happening in your low back as you move a little there. Great. Let's grab a sip of water. We're going to transition to standing. So, any way that you would like to get up from sitting to standing. And let's work with the feet. So we gave our feet a little attention right at the start of the class with some self-massage, and we talked about the four corners of each foot. Let's take now to really anchor each of those four corners. And I often invite you to lift your toes as you do this. So if you lift up your 5 toes, consider the top 2 corners that exist under the big toe, under the baby toe. And then the corners that exist along the heel or on either side of the heel. Really pay attention. We've got 4 corners of that foot anchoring you to the floor. Can you lay each toe down one at a time? Each toe now helping to ground you. Let's do that on the other foot. So the feet are hip width apart. You're lifting the 5 toes of the other foot, and same thing, aware of the 4 corners, really anchoring. And then each toe lands on the ground one at a time. Do your best. I know this is a tricky one. So now we're trying to actually feel with our feet, the 4 corners of each foot grounding us and the toes grounding us. Keep our knees bent. Keep our awareness way down at the feet. But then allow the spine to extend. And again, if we imagine those 7 spinning wheels of energy located just in front of our spine, we'll start with the one at the root chakra, the tailbone. So bring your attention there and then start to extend the spine up from there, all the way to the crown of your head. So you are standing as tall as you can stand, but with gentle knees. And starting to feel like your feet are growing roots into the earth. And we're going to work with that imagery at the end of the class when we do our meditation. Just as a little start to that. We've grounded our feet so well that we can start to imagine that they're going to grow roots down deep, deep into the earth. It's also going to help us with balance. So as you feel that, let's go into some balance poses now. We're going to start with Lord of the Dance because we haven't done that one for a while, and it's also great for stretching out the legs. Because we're balancing, we're going to be on one foot, not two. So you might want to be by a wall or a chair or whatever you need to help you with your balance. Let's now focus on one foot, staying where it is. You're going to have to shift your weight possibly so that we can lift the other leg up. You've got a couple of choices. You can just hold it here in the air, or you can interlace your fingers around the hamstring and let the arms help hold the leg. Either one is fine. You want to take now an eye focus. So look at something at eye level in front of you. Continue to ground that standing support leg. And now let's take a 3-3-9 breath here. If that breathing doesn't feel right for you, because we're working with some intensity, just breathe. Any breathing will do. If you're able to, now I'm going to grab onto the ankle or the back of the foot. I'll just turn so you can see. Or if it's tricky to grab that low, maybe you grab the back of your pants, or maybe you have a strap close by and you can wrap the strap around your leg. So it's essentially making your arm longer. Pardon me. Find your eye focus. Bend both your knees. Bring your knees together. And we're pulling the foot and heel quite close to the body. My heel is making contact with my bum. And now, let's do either a 3-3-9 breath or just a couple of regular breaths, keeping your eyes focused at eye level. Straighten the supporting leg. Start to pull the heel away from the bum. The free arm can now reach up, hand reaching for sky. So the hand is pulling you up while the foot pulls you down. Cross opposing forces there. Got the standing leg still anchoring and grounding you. And let's breathe. Bring your hand down to reach for what you're looking at. Then start to lift the back knee. Whatever extent you're able to do. We're trying to keep both our hip bones equally lifted from the ground, equally forward. So we're not flying high, we're not opening up one hip here. We're really keeping both hip bones shining equally forward. Breathe. Come on back. I definitely wobbled on that last one. Grab a sip of water before we change sides. So balance gets better with practice. And many of you have had success where, especially back when we had yoga terms and you would come in at the beginning of the term, often balance was a challenge. By the end of the term, usually I would get feedback that there was some change or some progress. So if today doesn't feel balanced for you, all you have to do is note it. Just notice how is your balance, and then you'll be able to compare when we balance other days. So let's ground the other foot. Feel the four corners. Feel the toes. When you're ready, keep your eyes focused at eye level and lift your leg. Choose whether you're holding with fingers or not. And breathe. As you're ready, knees together and bent. And either the 3-3-9 breath or any other breathing. Straighten the leg, pull the heel away from the bum, add the straight arm, and another breath. Good. Hold that there. I'll be right with you. And as you're ready, the hand reaches forward. Start to lift your back knee. And again, keep the eyes focused as you breathe. Excellent. Come on back. Shake out those legs. Grab water if you need to. Balance is a challenge, so well done. And any amount. Balance is also a great yoga pose where we practice non-judgment. So whatever it was that you were telling yourself in your head about your balance, there's no judgment. You're just noticing how that was for you. We're going to do one more balance. That's tree pose, which of course works with our imagery of growing roots. So once again, find your footing. Imagine that you are growing roots from that one stable, grounded foot. Breathe in with both feet on the floor. As you breathe out, you're going to turn out your other knee. Completely fine to leave the toes still anchored to the ground. If balance is a challenge, this is the tree that you might feel most success with. If you feel like you can balance a little more, maybe you bring the heel up at the knee level or higher, whatever works for you. So we've got hands at heart. Many of you have done lots of different versions of trees. So if you prefer having your hands in a different position, do the tree that works best for you. And we'll go back to easy breathing here. So maybe you're going to hold here for one breath as you get started. And then let's do a breath on the other side as you're checking in with your body in this pose. Grounding the other foot. Hands at heart as you breathe in. As you breathe out, you're turning out your knee and deciding whether your toes will stay anchored down or your foot will work its way up the leg. So now that you've done each side in tree, I invite you to play around with it. If your balance is feeling secure today, then maybe you want to get into tree and hold for 2 breaths, 3 breaths, maybe longer on each side. So now go ahead at your own pace. Go back and forth between your sides, but hold the amount that works for you. I'm moving to my final side now. Continue to feel like your standing leg, your standing foot is growing roots. Excellent. If you've got your mat, we're now coming onto the mat with a wide-legged stance. We're going into a warrior position. So have your foot pointed towards the short end of the mat. Imagine that you're drawing a line from the heel of that foot to the instep of the other foot, and the other foot is at 45 degrees. We're bending the knee and being aware of what happens with our hips. So we're doing our best to keep the outside of the knee in line with the pinky toe, which of course starts to open that hip, but can you also open your other hip so that the hips are opening in opposite directions? They're getting as open as they can be here. Bend the knee a little more. Let the arms float up. Drop your shoulders down. Look past your side fingers and let's breathe. Tip yourself so that your forearm is resting on your thigh of the bent knee. Your free arm is reaching way overhead to create length across your whole side there. And we're imagining making space through the rib cage, both the underside of the ribs and the top side of the ribs. Make more room and breathe. Still feel your feet. Those feet, 4 corners of each foot have still got you grounded. Lift your hand towards the sky. Your choice. If your back needs a little extra support, then keep your forearm on thigh. If the back is well, open up the bottom arm so that the hands make a long line. And breathe. Your head and neck will tell you what direction the eyes should be looking. If it's comfortable for you, you can look up past the top fingers. If not, then find a better way. We're going to switch the hands now. The hand that's down is going up. The hand that was up is sliding down the back of the leg. Gaze up past your fingers now. 3 breaths. Feeling your feet anchoring you to the floor. Excellent. Bring that back. Change your feet. Point it the other way, bending the other knee. Outside of this knee stays in line with the pinky toe. Opening this hip. Opening the other hip. So there's lots of openness. And let your arms float up. Look past your fingers. 3 breaths as you drop your shoulders down. A little tip to rest on the thigh with the bent knee. Free arm reaches past your ear. Be as long as you can through both sides of your ribs and breathe. Send your top hand straight up towards the sky. Bottom arm can stay as is or aim forward. 3 more breaths here. Can you keep your attention on the 4 corners of each foot? Let's change the arms. The one that was down goes up. The one that was up slides down the back of the leg. Look up past your top fingers and breathe. Front knee is still bent. Excellent work. Come back to center, have a sip of water, and let's lie down on our backs. We'll do some poses from lying. So well done. Come to lying on your back with your knees up and your feet still flat on the floor. So as we've been doing, continue to notice the four corners of each foot. We've just changed our body position, but our feet are still grounding us. So the bridge pose gives us a wonderful opportunity to work with the root chakra. It has so much work with the tailbone here that it makes lots of sense to bring our attention to the tailbone area during bridge. So first, let's do just a little bit of work with Kegel. So you've got your core starting to squeeze internally and then release. Just take a moment to get aware of that. Now, press your big toes, especially, into the floor. Keep your knees hip width apart. Squeeze your core, squeeze your Kegel, and lift just your tailbone off the ground. And hover there for a moment. Very aware of the area of the root, the base of the spine. Now, like we usually do, see if you can lift one vertebra at a time up off the ground into bridge pose. So eventually the hips are high. We've got weight on the back of the neck, tops of the shoulders. And now we're going to take one hip and drop it down or let it dip about an inch. And then use the strong muscles of your back to propel it back up to full height. And drop your other hip an inch, bring it back up. Go back and forth that way. Dropping each hip one at a time, and then using the muscles to come back up. Still aware of your toes, grounding you. Then come up into the full height position, and let's one vertebra at a time come down out of this bridge. And bring the knees into your chest and just rock side to side. A little self back massage this way. And breathe. So we're going to do a leg stretch and then go into a bridge one more time with an option for a harder version. Extend one leg, interlace your fingers around the hamstring, start to extend your heel with a flexed foot up towards the ceiling. Now, those of you who have very flexible legs will find this perhaps too easy. If that's the case, you might be able to bring your leg a little closer to your body. For me, with tight legs, this is hard. My leg shakes when I do this. So you're finding whatever you're able to do. Let's hold here and breathe. Keep flexing the foot. Keep pressing the heel skyward. Straightening out the leg. And noticing, where is it that the stretch is needed here? Good, let's bring that one in and take the other one up. Again, interlace the fingers, or you can always hold your pants if it's too difficult to get the fingers around the leg. And again, flex the foot, send your heel skyward, and start to breathe. And notice, how's this side compared to the first side? Where is it that this leg needs the stretch? Excellent. Bring that back down, getting ready for another bridge. So knees are hip width apart, feet are hip width apart, toes are pressed into the mat, especially your big toes. Core is squeezing, including your kegel, and you're lifting your tailbone up off the ground. Then one vertebra at a time lifts along with until you're up in your hips up bridge. So you've got a couple of options here. This is plenty. So we're already working the core, we're getting some spine opening, and there's lots going on to just do the regular bridge. It's fine to stay just here. If you want extra, see how it is to lengthen one leg off the ground. So you're gonna stand on one foot. So again, we ask for some balance here. You're going to extend the other leg, but we want to keep the knees the same height. So we're trying to keep both hips up and keep the knees level with each other, even though one leg has extended. Bring that in. Try extending the other leg. If this cramps up in your hamstrings or other places in your legs, then don't do it. Just give it a little try and then come on out of it. If this is okay for you, then we're just doing a little walk, lengthening one, keeping the knees the same height. Then bring that in, lengthen the other. Beautiful, come back to your bridge, and one vertebra at a time brings you down. And now lengthen your legs, lengthen your arms above you, be as long a body as you can be. Breathe. Take your hands over to the right side and your feet over to the right corner of your mat so that you are now a crescent moon shape or a banana shape. Take a breath there. Let's go over to the other side, hands over to the left, feet over to the left corner of the mat, banana shape the other way, and breathe. Come back to center and turn yourself over onto your stomach. And let's lay here for a moment. Enjoy having the ground hold you up as you lay in your belly. See if you can let go of any tight parts that you're holding here. Good. I'm going to get a little arm strengthening. Hands come underneath your shoulders, right up close beside your chest. Start with the weight of the head on your chin. Keep your hips totally relaxed and your back and core not involved. So they are soft. The arms are going to do all the work. So push your chin off the ground, push your chest off the ground. And it doesn't have to be very high. This can be just a little movement. And then bring them back down. And do it again. Go 6 times today. Breathe as you need to. We're trying to lengthen the spine. So start to imagine making more room between all of the vertebrae in the low back. So the arms are still doing the work. The core and the back have stayed uninvolved. Good. Touch your chin down, touch your forehead down, rest your arms, and rest on each cheek for a breath. And we are going to use the core for this one into a version of Cobra. Leave your arms reaching for your feet. So your arms are long, fingers reaching towards your toes. Use your core. So a little Kegel, Press your pubic bone into the mat. Lift both your legs up and start to lift your chin and chest off the ground. So you are balanced up on your core. Maybe your neck allows you to look forward, your eyes gazing forward, fingers still reaching for toes. Imagine your chest being more open, your shoulders coming more back. Breathe here. And nice and slowly now to come down and out of it. Lots of control. Eventually you'll touch your chin, your forehead, and push yourself into a pose of child. Any version, whatever works for you. You can rest your head on your hands, or your hands by your feet, and knees can be open or closed, whatever you like. 3 big breaths here. And round yourself back up. Excellent. We're going to do one more core strengthener and then a seated meditation. Come onto your tailbone. So seated and balanced right on your tailbone. So finding where that is. So we're really working with the root chakra here. Could give you lots of options. So the idea is we're going to see if we can be balanced on our tailbones by lifting our feet off the ground. There's lots of versions of arms out or arms in or holding legs. So the first thing to do is see if you can lift one heel off the ground and stay balanced on that tailbone. Find an eye focus. And maybe can you lift the other heel off the ground? Now if that sends you out of balance, then put one heel back down. You're working with whatever your body's able to do. If you feel like, yeah, I got this, I got my heels off the ground, I'm still balanced, then you can play around with maybe extending one of those legs. Can you still stay balanced? Extending an arm. Maybe bringing those ones in, extending the other leg, other arm. So continue this way, play around here. This is boat or half boat pose that you're taking on. Make it work for you and take any breaks that you need to take. We're certainly getting some attention down at our root. One more breath in whatever position you're choosing here. Excellent. Find your way to sitting. Grab some water if you need to. I'm inviting all of us to do this meditation as a seated meditation today. However, if you just love the lying down Shavasana and that's your favorite thing, then go ahead. So take a moment to really get comfortable. If you like to stretch your legs out for a moment. I've got a pillow underneath my tailbone so that I can sit more comfortably. Cross-legged is a position that works for me, but any seated position will do. We are going to sit here for probably 6 minutes. So if that's a long time for you, then you might choose to grab a chair. Position yourself in a leaning up against the wall, perhaps. Whatever works for you to sit comfortably. So once you've wiggled enough to find the right seated position for yourself, then I invite you to find stillness. Notice your spine, length, right from the base of the tailbone on up to the top of the crown. Allow your face to be soft, area around your eyes to let go. Let your jaw relax. Perhaps you even keep your lips parted slightly. Let your shoulders come down. No tension there. And start to pay attention and witness your own breathing. However you're breathing now, you don't have to change it. Just notice yourself breathing. Are there parts of your body that move with the breath? And alternately, are there parts of your body that remain still? Continue to witness or observe your own breathing, perhaps slowing it down just slightly. Remembering that breath is energy. It's the life force that we bring into ourselves from the outer world. Allow your breath to settle into a rhythm, one that's comfortable and easy for you to sustain. I invite you to imagine that your spine is a connecting rod that connects the earth below you to the sky above us. Imagine the length of that rod situated at the spine. Helping to move the energy from the outer world through us. And if you enjoy visualization, I'll provide a visualization today. If it doesn't work for you, it's fine to just sit and observe the breath. If you're able to work with the image of the rod of your spine as a conduit of energy. Imagine the energy that is being brought to the top of that rod, crown chakra. The energy from above and around you. And it's gently being brought into that rod and moved down that rod at whatever pace is right for you. Eventually moving out at the base of the spine and into the earth. I invite you to imagine that from the base of your spine, you are growing roots, deep, deep roots. The roots that would exist for a tall and old tree. Those roots are able to connect you to our planet, the Earth. And that those roots are able to bring nourishment and nutrients from the earth back up into the root system and back up into the base of your spine. If you like, you can imagine those nutrients slowly at whatever pace moving up the rod of your spine. Gently up and out the top, the crown of the head. And then that flow of the energy coming in, like the energy of the sun or the energy of the air around you, oxygen. That energy is coming in the top crown of your head, moving down the rod of your spine. Bringing that energy down into the earth through these deep, deep roots that you've grown. Simultaneously, as those roots take nutrients from the earth below you and bring them back up through the root system into your spine and up into the atmosphere around you. We'll sit for 1 more minute silently, either imagining the flow of energy back and forth that way, or simply sitting, breathing. And now take 3 deeper breaths. Start to stretch and move. If you like, you can put your hands on your knees. Start to round your spine as you round your shoulders, pull yourself back. Let your hands anchor onto your knees so that you can straighten your arms. And then do the opposite. Arched shape with your back, gazing up, breathing in. And then round the spine again. Big rounded shape, chin towards chest, breathing out. And arched again. I'm going to round over to the right side, maybe getting into the shoulder, or at least one shoulder a little more. Come back to center as you arch. And over to the left side, roundedness, chin towards chest, breathing out. Last time, breathing in, center. And just come to sitting neutral. Take your thumb into your hand, inhale and raise. Just easy breathing here and low shoulders. Perhaps you open your eyes to bring the day back in. Hands together, 2 breaths. Hands behind or in front of the neck. Full extension as you breathe in. Slow hands to heart as you breathe out. And a breath at the heart. Namaste. Thank you as always. Thank you for being willing to spend a little time with your root chakra. I wish you a very grounded week.